Hi, everyone. Immigration attorney Michael Mayer here. I wanted to talk to everybody about a couple of phone calls that I've gotten in the last month and a half, where some folks were trying to get their permanent resident parents naturalized, and they paid the money, they filled out the application, they waited the time, but when they got to the interview, the parents failed the interview. Why? Because they didn't know English. In the instructions for the form, which is the N-400, it says almost all applicants for naturalization must take a naturalization test to demonstrate that they are able to read, write, speak, and understand English, and that they have a basic knowledge of civics, U.S. history, and government. So two things. You got to read the instruction for these forms. Personally, I wouldn't take on an N-400, an application for citizenship, without an attorney. Why? Because it is deceptively complex. It is deceptively full of pitfalls if you don't know what you're doing. If any of you have sat in the interview for citizenship, you probably think, well, the English part was just that little section and it was super easy. But you have to keep in mind that from the time that the official picks you up at the door, comes and gets you, and takes you to his office and does the interview, he's testing your English. He's trying to see if you're able to communicate back and forth with him. If you're sitting there and you're like, and you don't understand what he's talking about, that's part of the test. They don't tell you that, but that's part of the test. It goes on to say, you do not have to take the English reading, writing, speaking, and understanding test, and you can take the civics test in a language of your choice if you are, number one, 50 years of age or older and have been a lawful permanent resident of the United States for 20 years, or you are 55 or older and have been a lawful permanent resident for at least 15 years. It also states if you are 65 years of age or older and have been a lawful permanent resident for the last 20 years, you may take a simplified version of the civics test, which is basically you study 20 questions and you still have to get 6 out of 10 right. So those are important to keep in mind because you can spend a lot of time and heartache. The last phone call I got, they sent in both their parents, and that was a lot of money down the tube. So I think this is a good example of where it's important to sit down with an experienced immigration attorney and to find out what you're up against. These immigrants, they go through so much to come to the United States, to fill out the paperwork, pay the fees, wait the time, do the interviews, wait to become a citizen. It's sort of the fulfillment of that dream to be able to walk out and say, I did it. I'm a U.S. citizen. I would just suggest that you talk to an experienced immigration attorney to make sure that you are on the right path and that there's not going to be any obstacles in your way. If you have any questions about this or anything else, give me a call at 888-319-7799. Y'all take care.